What's going on, everybody, and welcome to the Taurean Rain Reloaded channel. If you are new, make sure you go ahead and hit that subscribe button, hit that bell to be notified every time I upload a new video or go live. Have your notifications set to all. Like, comment, and share my content so more people can be aware of what it is that I am bringing to you. So before I actually get into this video today, let me give a shout out to Kid Gravity. He recently did, at the time of me recording this video, which is May 22nd, 2022. He recently did a live stream on his channel, and I had came on and, just shooting a breeze, and I had noticed a tweet that was posted up there, and it had this person's face on there, but I didn't really pay much attention to it. I just read what the caption said. Between what you see here as well as who tweeted it, but the quote tweet said 3-day-old takeout from and Seltzer demons back at it again. When I saw that, I bust out laughing. Now, the person that you see on your screen, her name is Amala something. I can't pronounce her last name to save my life. It be Amala Ekpunobi. Her last name is spelled Ekpunobi. She's one of these. She has a combination of being a tether and a tragic mulatto rolled into one, because she is of mixed ethnicity. She has a black father and a white mother, and the father is Nigerian, and of course, and the mother is just, she's PC, and she's literally like the illegitimate sister of the coonstress. Like, where her talking points, like she's trying to work her way up there. But anyway, she's from PragerU, and I'm actually working this video backwards. And what I mean by that is I'm starting with a recent video of hers, then it's going to segue into a not so recent video of hers, and then it's going to get to the bigger component of this video. But I've heard of her before. I've actually seen some stuff from her before, and she is just she's despicable. And she comes off as this sweet person, but she's really not sweet at all. She's like the Sour Patch Kid in reverse. But what I also noticed is that look at who pushed this video out of her now. The video was posted May 3rd, so that was fairly recent. Neon Cowgirl. Now, this Neon Cowgirl person is an Asian that their bio says QFSXRP Patriot. I won't talk behind your back. I'll talk in front of you. President Trump is the best prez. I have 3 girls, triple threat. That's what her bio says. Now, what I'm going to go ahead and do is, I usually do, how I do the stop and go thing when it comes to these type of videos. So I want to make sure that I don't slip up on anything that they're saying. And some of you may have seen this video. Some of you may have not. I predict many of you have not. And that's good for you, but y'all need to be aware of the enemy amongst us. So let's get into it. This clip is only 45 seconds.
Let's go ahead and debunk this whole white privilege thing. Is there a white entertainment category on Netflix, Hulu, and Prime? No, but there is a black one.
So she's already starting with the whole, she's trying to say she's debunking white privilege as if white privilege is not a thing. Now, keep in mind, this is a woman, and I believe she's only in her early 20s, barely into her 20s, might I add. I think she's like 21. I think she's like 21. So you're talking about someone who's born in the early 2000s. So she's a Gen Z individual, and she's half PC herself. Something just tells me that she probably wishes that the Negro genes in her did not catch up with her, because no one would ever expect to mistakenly think of her as a PC woman, even though she probably prides herself on wishing that she was. But she starts off with, saying debunking white privilege, and she starts off with talking about Netflix not having a quote unquote white section of it, but they have a black section of it. I'm gonna piggyback off of something Kid Gravity said in his live stream. They have Netflix. The network, the streaming service platform known as Netflix, that is all of theirs. That's owned by them. The fact that they have black films in a section there is just that it's there. It is what it is. It just makes it easier to find, because they're in a sea of other PC related or PC made films, or mainly PC starring charactered films. That's all it is. But she's making a big deal out of it. But let's continue.
Is there a white-owned restaurant category on Uber Eats? No, but there is a black one.
She says, is there a white-owned category for restaurants on Uber Eats? No, but there is a black one. She's not really making good arguments. And then she's saying this with a smile on her face. It's almost like it gives me Harley Quinn vibes. Like she's smiling in your face while she's ready to knock your head off with that sledgehammer that's behind her back. Like I said, and the thing is, it's not even funny, but she is a clown. She just doesn't have the makeup on. But let's continue.
Are white people being hired to fill a diversity quota in corporations and companies? No, but black people are.
My goodness. She really thinks she's doing something here. When she said, are white people being hired, quotas, and everything like that. Wells Fargo ring a bell? That just recently happened. The NFL with Brian Flores ring a bell? That just recently happened. She's talking out of her ass right now. And I'm talking about the ass that's sitting on her face, not the one that she's sitting on.
And is there a whole system of affirmative action for white students that puts them in colleges of which they are unfit to attend purely based on their race? No, but there is one for black students.
Affirmative action was meant to be for black people, specifically black men. But what happened? PC women complained and bitched about it, and they ended up getting it. Remember that Weasley looking chick from a couple years ago that thought she should have got in because I guess she was some kind of legacy or whatever the case may be, but her test scores went up to par, and then she tried to say it was affirmative action that got the other non-white students in, but it was because their test scores were better than hers. Like, she took that all the way to the Supreme Court with that. I will never forget that story because I stayed on that. That was one of the stories I stayed on top of. I'm so glad that that thing is as buried as deep into the ground as Anthony Scalia is, because that's one of the people that she reached out to, quote unquote, in order to try to help her get some leg up with her situation, which didn't work out for her.
Can white people go out and riot and loot and burn down businesses in the streets while being cheered on by the political left? No, but black people can.
Well, PC has been known to riot in the streets during pumpkin festivals. I remember talking about that. And no one, while there probably wasn't people that really cheered about it, there wasn't a bunch of backlash about it either. But they sure tried to make sure to bring up black people in the stuff that we do, even though we had no parts. And not just at pumpkin festivals, but any type of sporting event. Like I said, she's not giving or laying out good examples right now, and she's an airhead, okay? Or as some of the people that I went to school with who are from New York, she's a bird head. That's what she is. Just tie a ribbon around her and just walk and watch her float away into the abyss.
White people, don't you dare say a word because you'll be labeled a racist. If you want to know who's in power in your country, think about who you cannot criticize.
Oh my God. Well, in that case, she just basically said that the people in the Jewish community, because you can't criticize them because then they'll say you're anti-Semitic and they'll have the whole ADL come after you. You can't talk about Asians because they got a whole anti-Asian hate crime bill protecting them. You definitely can't talk about those in the academy because while they may be a small percentage, they are starting to have a stronghold on many corners of a lot of things. But there's black people out here that can be talked about. They can be beaten. They can be harmed. And worse, they can be killed. And nothing protects us. Look at what just recently happened in Buffalo. So nothing she said made any sense except to herself and the people who listen to her. But hold on right quick because there's more stuff I have to show you when it comes to her. So remember I said we were going to start more recent and work our way back. So now we're going back a little bit further back into last year when it comes to her. This is around the time when it said California launches Reparations Task Force. This was when they were starting to look into reparations for black people in the state of California. Now, this was before this year when they said that they were going to do it on lineage based. But this is last year. Now, what I want you to do now, this is a 27-second clip. I want you to pay attention to the tone that she had in the first video I showed, and then listen to the tone she has with this video right here. It's very different. It's like night and day. But let's get into it.
So California has now launched a reparations task force to pay back Black Californians for the plight of slavery. The 9-member task.
Now listen to how she sounds. She has an attitude now. She's not that old, that, oh my God, that giddy type of person that she was sounding like in the first video. Now she's got the finger wagging. She's moving the head. She's blinking the eyes like she got the whole sister girl act down. All she hasn't been doing is snapping her fingers and rolling her neck. But you could tell she wants to. And she got them same dusty braids in this video that she had in the previous video. It's an ongoing theme with her. I think that's as close to her blackness as she's going to get, is having them braids. And might I add, I think she lives in California. But there's a whole point to her little rant. Keep in mind, she is of Nigerian descent on her dad's side and PC on her mother's side. So you're seeing why she's upset. Not just because, you know, of the obvious, but because of something else. And we'll talk about that at the end of her little minstrel rant.
Task force is working on drafting an apology to Black Californians and working on legislation that could include direct payments to those who are descendant of slaves.
Hold on, before I go any further, look at how hard it was for her to even try to crack a smile through her disappointment and anger.
Who are descendant of slaves.
Look at that. She is fuming right now. She is upset. But listen to how she sounds in these last few seconds.
My question is, how does that...
And pay attention to the picture behind her. That is none other than Thomas Sowell. I just thought that was very interesting that she had that image up there.
That makes sense. There is no Black person living in America right now that is held back by some remnant of slavery. We have every single right, privilege, and opportunity that white people have in this country. We do not need reparations.
Listen to that. She said in so many words that Black people should not be complaining because we have every single right that white people have in America. Oh, really? Well, explain that racial wealth gap, Amala, because I refuse to try to pronounce your last name. I don't like you, so why bother? And all the other atrocities facing Black people. Where is the equal footing? There isn't none. I kept telling people, and I'm going to say it until I'm blue in the face. Equality is a myth. I'm going to keep on saying it until I am blue in the face, especially when it comes to America. She says that, let me go back and run it again. Hold on.
My question is, how does that make sense? There is no Black person living in America right now that is held back by some remnant of slavery. We have every single right, privilege, and opportunity that white people have in this country. We do not need reparations.
The reason why she's so upset goes back to the point I made. She is of mixed race. Not that it wouldn't matter if she was mixed race, but the thing is her dad is Nigerian, so that already X'd her out right there. She can't get it on her mom's side because her mom's side is most likely a descendant of slave owners. So she's upset because most likely she's not going to get a dime out of it. And then on top of that, this is happening in the same state that I believe she currently resides in. So imagine if Black people or FBA out there got their checks cut and they are waving that in her face, that she would be more salty than an Auntie Anne pretzel inside of a food court of a mall. That's really what it boils down to when it comes to tethers like her. And yes, she is a tragic mulatto, much like what's her face? Mammy Steele. She is. Like, she has the whole vibe right here just oozing off of her. But that's really what it boils down to. She's not getting anything out of it. So what better way to air out her grievances? Say that Black people don't deserve it. FBA in particular, I should say. So because she's not getting anything, we don't get anything. That's in my opinion, that is her mindset. That is her MO. But hold on. There's one last part. Well, before I get into that last part, let's keep in mind when it comes to reparations, this goes beyond just slavery. We're just saying that it's starting there, and it's starting, the starting point, the launch pad is happening there, but it doesn't just end there. It doesn't just start and end with slavery. It's stuff that happened after slavery as well. I'm telling you, them cuts get checked. They're going to be getting cut for a very, 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 very long time. I keep telling people, this is not a one-time payment. These are recurring payments because because the effects that black people have dealt with in America, FBA in particular, are a residual occurrence, not a one-time thing. So because they are residual, the checks will be residual as well. But hold on. Now, this part that I'm about to show you is going to really put the nail in the coffin when it comes to this chick right here. Look at this. And again, shout out to Kid Gravity. Like I said, Kid Gravity is the reason I got all three of the pieces that I'm talking about right now. I'm actually leave the link to his channel down, pinned down in the comments. Make sure y'all go and hit subscribe to him. This is coming from ProggerU. This is the organization that she's a part of. Look at this headline, March 16, 2021. Now, this is further back from the video that y'all just saw that was posted June 2021. This was a few months before. Former left-wing activist at Half Black Conservative, because that's her handle, Amala Ekpunobi, becomes newest ProggerU personality. Former left-wing. So basically, she's a grifting artist, much like the Coonstress and Brandon Fakem and all them other ones who tap dance for dollars. Let's read what they say. And this is coming out of Holly Weird. 20-year-old Amala Ekpunobi, a self-described quote-unquote left-wing activist turned conservative influencer, is ProggerU's newest personality. A ProggerU ambassador, her story stood out among hundreds of entries during a recent Progger Force casting call to find the next Will Witt. Ekpunobi, who announced her new role to her thousands of social media followers, joins ProggerU's lineup of conservative content creators. Now look at that. Hundreds of entries during a recent Progger Force casting call. I'm like, is this an audition for a movie or a commercial or a television show? It says a casting call. So that just means it was probably a bunch of fake phonies all up and through there. And she was the fake and phony that got picked. And it was probably a diversity hire, quote unquote. Ekpunobi shares her ideological transformation from questioning leftist ideology to ultimately changing her mind and embracing conservative ideas in her Stories of Us video, Why I Left My Job as a Leftist Organizer. The episode is the newest in the mini-series, which is dedicated to telling personal stories of people's journeys to living a better life, speaking out about their life, about their values and their love of America. The left is very, very supportive of anti-American values and anti-American speech, remarked Ekpunobi. They see it as taking back a country that has not served them, even though America has done wonders for everybody who lives here. Okay, let's continue. The daughter of a Nigerian immigrant, Ekpunobi herself embodies the American dream. Raised by a far-left single mother of three, she adopted leftist beliefs from an early age. After high school, she began working for the same left-leaning organization as her mother, canvassing neighborhoods as a youth organizer bent on converting others to leftist ideologies. She never questioned the narrative until she discovered the racism she thought she was fighting against was being perpetuated by her side. Within the organization she worked for, she heard blatant racism against white people. As a half black, half white young woman, she recognized half of herself and half of her family was hated and unwelcomed by the left. She could not support that position and now actively speaks out on issues such as victim culture. So basically, she hates the hell out of her black side. Basically. Well, she better hope that that black side is not the side that gets hemmed up. Because they ain't going to be hemming up that white side. We are bringing back segregation in this country, Ekpunobi concluded. They misspelled her name. People will sell it to you that we are doing it in a positive manner, but it perpetuates the same racist narrative that they are trying to run away from. The left, she said, wants race to be seen. The civil rights era goal to ensure all people are judged by their character is being replaced by a skin color first approach. She might as well just say Dr. King, because that's exactly what she was alluding to. They think it is such a pivotal part of who they are as a person, and it's overtaking character, it's overtaking morals and values, and it's overtaking where you even land politically. Said Ekpunobi, your race is seen as this sort of pivotal structure to who you are, when that should not be the case. Again, more tether babble and more tragic mulatto malarkey. Although her father is not involved in her life, she has found positive influences in her grandparents and inspiration in economist, social theorist, author, and nationally syndicated conservative columnist Thomas Sowell. Now keep in mind, I just told you in the previous video that was his picture up there. PC loves the hell out of Thomas Sowell. Black conservatives like her, well, she's grifting, but those quote unquote like her love Thomas. He's like their god. He's like their beacon of light. Like they have to hang on to him like he's a security blanket. Notice that anyone who mentions that person's name as a talking point, you run the other way. I'm just put it like that. And PC loves to bring him up too. As a member of Gen Z, Ekpunobi, known as the half black conservative, brings her message to hundreds of thousands of followers on TikTok, Instagram, and Twitter, and will reach countless more through her involvement with ProggerU. And I'm guaranteeing you that the vast majority of her followers look just like her mother, and probably around the same age range too. Ekpunobi is the second addition to the ProggerU lineup in just a few short weeks. In February, ProggerU announced Jill Simonian as the new director of outreach for ProggerU Resources for Educators and Parents, also known as PrEP, an online community that has equipped more than 6,000 parents and educators with the tools they need to give students a balanced education and demand that schools across America do the same. But yeah, she's a grifter. Shocked? I'm not. I am not shocked. Many of them are grifters. They go wherever they can get paid. Wherever they can get a job and get paid, that's exactly where they will go. As far as I'm concerned, the stuff that she mentioned in here was a bunch of fluffy BS. I'm willing to bet that if she got thrown a sack of money her way to do whatever it is that she was doing before the grift kicked in, she would do it. I'm telling you, a lot of these so-called politicians, or those, well, not politicians, well, them too, but people like her are nothing more than political whores. They only say something in order to get the dollars and capture the minds and hearts of people that probably would not care for them any other way. And the thing is, I would say I almost feel bad for them, because they got to stay on the straight and narrow. And if they, for one instance, get out of line, that's it. But honestly, I don't feel bad for them. And I cannot wait for the day when people like her slip up. Because what do we always say? Coons, Sambos, Sambets, Coonstresses, buck dancers, shucking drivers, they're tools. And when Dub S is done playing with their tools, or they break them, they are going to be discarded. They're going to be tossed aside. And then another tool is going to come in and take their place. Then they're going to try to come back on their ashy little knees to us, and we're going to look them square in the eye and be like, nope. Stay your ass right over wherever it is that you came from. We don't want you. We don't need you. But yeah, I had to throw Amala Ekpunobi into the Blackarin category. She's like she's an up and coming Blackarin. I think that's what I might actually title this, examining the up and coming Blackarin, because she is right there amongst her ilk that, I've placed before her. And there's going to be several that's going to be joining her in the coming future. But what I can't wait for is the day that I get to cue the violins on her ass for whatever it may be, because she definitely deserves it. And she is, but more importantly, to be more serious, she's very dangerous, Like the rhetoric that she's given, I gave you 2 examples. The one where she was talking about how white privilege doesn't exist, and then the one about how black people don't deserve reparations. Yeah, she's one to look out for and keep your eye on, because she's bad for business. I'm gonna leave it at that, and that's my take on it.